The views and opinions of this broadcast do not reflect the views and opinions of Armed Media, New Productions and its affiliates. Enjoy the show.
Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Sports Insider. My name is Glenn Spillman, and I am your host for the evening. And it is just about that time. Yes, it is, baby. All right, we've got some Heco de Mexico Corona Premier. Thank you to this friendly staff.
User left your channel.
Right, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you guys are getting ready for Mother's Day. Don't forget about your mothers. Don't forget about your wives that are mothers or your mothers that are mothers. What I suggest is, and I don't care if you know how to draw a freaking stick figure. What I suggest, instead of buying a card from the store that someone else wrote, why don't you get a piece of printer paper or an 8x10 blank piece of paper or whatever, fold it in half, draw a little picture on the front, no matter what it is, no matter how good you think you do, go ahead and draw the picture, and inside the card, put Dear Mom or Dear Honey, or whether it's going to your wife or mom, put Dear Whomever. Write something from the heart. It doesn't have to be poetry. It doesn't have to be Shakespeare. Just write something from the heart. And I promise you, on everything holy, they will appreciate that more than any gift that you give them or any card that you give them, because it came from the heart, and they'll be like, oh, because you thought of it all by yourself, with the help of me, of course. Ah, man. All right, for those of you listening in, you can get the TuneIn app. Download it to your smartphone. Go and search Armed Radio. Little yellow icon with the headphones. And subscribe to that channel, because you guys could listen to all kinds of shows. Like right before mine, you've got Pot Talk with Jim and Paul. And I hear that there's someone else that is involved with the show. So check that out. You guys can go and listen to tonight's show. This Pod Talk comes on before my show. But go to Spreaker.com, type in Pod Talk or Armed Radio, but I would type in Pod Talk and look at the Jim and Paul icon there. And listen to the show. It'll probably be up. If it's not up later tonight, it will definitely be up by midnight tonight. And tomorrow you guys could catch the show. These guys always put on a good, entertaining show. I love listening to them. I didn't get a full chance to listen to the show tonight because I was taking care of my son and my daughter, and like I do every night. It's not like they visit me or anything. And they were just screaming. Finn was just running around in circles, screaming. Willow was banging on toys, so I didn't have my headphones on because they weren't charged fully, so they were charging on the phone, because normally I would listen to it on my headphones. But check that out, and after my show, you can catch Betrayal, and that comes on every single Friday night at 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern Time. And if you guys want to follow us on Facebook, type in Armed Radio. There's a nice looking girl with the headphones on. And come and follow us along with the other 101,905 people who follow the page. Go and friend and request me or direct message me, Glenn Spillman, during the show, like so many people do. When I hear that ding, 90% of the time it's someone asking a sports question. The other percent of the time it's my friends just jacking around. But anyway, you could DM me during the show. Hey, I'm going to give a shameless promotion for myself. go to Amazon.com, type in my name, Glenn Spillman. You can check out the books that I have written and the new one that just came out. Check that out. And let me take another drink here. Man, there's nothing like an ice cold beverage on a nice warm day here in sunny California. And we are being broadcast on Armed Radio around the United States and around the world. So, again, go to that TuneIn app, download it to your phone or iPad or whatever, and then start listening to the shows. Like I said, there are many shows that you can listen to, i.e., Night Talk with Joe Rocks, every Thursday at 10 p.m. Eastern. Rock Talk with Amy Chafalo, 11 p.m. Eastern on Tuesdays. What's the Story with Maria, Tuesdays at 9 p.m. All these are Eastern times. Ask for Candy, Mondays, 8 p.m. Eastern. All You Could Eat with Rob Rosenthal, every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Diana Kovic, Mondays at 9. I mean, any kind of show. I mean, if you like paranormal, Talk Live Paranormal with Shannon Griffin every Wednesday at 11 p.m. What a perfect time slot for her show. 11 p.m. right before midnight. So if you like paranormal, go check that out. New Era Talk with Kathy. I mean, Professor Jamie Lynn, Marriage and Family, the Rapist, Therapist. Again, anything that you guys want to listen to, go and check it out. And you can go to armedradioglobal.com. And this is a cool picture. All in Fridays at 8 p.m. Eastern on Friday night. Call in 1-800-508-5431. Got Jimmy, a.k.a. Moses. You got Paul Daniels, Donald Wiseman, and David Coots. Go check out that. I'm just looking at the picture and a couple other pictures. One guy, Jimmy, does look like Moses. Looks like a stoned freaking cross between Tommy Chong and Jerry Garcia. And you got Paul Daniels, which his picture looks more like a mugshot. More like a mugshot, but he's kind of a quirky mugshot. So check that out. And I'm sure you guys want to get into sports, but you know what, man? It'll be there in a minute. Just a few minutes ago, the Warriors and Rockets started. 6 p.m. Well, you've got Game 6. Will this go to Game 7? I don't know. I don't foresee it going to a Game 7, but you know what? Kevin Durant is out with an Achilles. I think it's an Achilles tear. No one else has said anything about that. And, of course, the team is not going to relinquish all of its news. They're not going to give the other team a leg up, if you will, by telling everyone's business. And especially if you know somebody's hurt, you prepare differently for the game than you normally would if you didn't know how bad they were hurt. But Houston's got the perfect opportunity. They're at home tonight, and that's always, they're in the Toyota Center, and that's always a good place to play is at home. But you got the Warriors wanting to close this out because the home teams have always, in this series, have always won. Like the Warriors won 2 games at home. The Rockets won 2 games at home. The Warriors won the last game at home. The Rockets very well may win this one at home. But if they do that, it goes to Game 7. And that is going to be back in Oakland. And if the story rings true that the home team always wins in this series, then the Warriors will win Game 7 and go on to the West Finals. New York Yankees 4-3 over Tampa Bay right now. My lovely Yankees. You've got the Angels 8-2 over the Orioles. The White Sox are losing to the Blue Jays 4-2. Marlins are getting slaughtered by the New York Mets 11-2. The Mets have 14 freaking hits, 1 error. Yankees again 4-3 over the Rays. That's good because that'll bring them closer to first place. Mariners are being blanked by the Boston Red Sox 8-0. Top of the 7th inning. Red Sox have 10 hits. Interstate rivals, Astros, and the Texas Rangers are playing. Top of the 4th, Astros 1, Rangers 0. We got the Twins 2-0 over the Tigers, bottom of the 4th. Kansas City Royals 2-0 over the Phillies, bottom of the 3rd. Still a lot of baseball to be played. Cardinals are being blanked by the Pirates. Only 1-0, only top of the 4th. Again, a lot of game to play. Padres and Rockies are in a scoreless game. Each team has 2 hits. They are in Colorado. Brewers 7-0. They beat the Cubs earlier today, and you still have 4 games tonight. Here in just right up the road in Oakland, you've got the Cleveland Indians and the Oakland Athletics. Arizona Diamondbacks and the Braves. Cincinnati Reds playing in San Francisco tonight. And then my Dodgers playing at home against the Washington Nationals. Take me another drink. Now the owners of Maximum Security, the horse that won the Kentucky Derby, then lost the Kentucky Derby. They filed an appeal with the Kentucky Horse Racing Commission, contending that their horse should be declared the rightful winner of the 2019 Kentucky Derby, owner Gary West told Today Show. Maximum Security will also skip the Preakness, West said. We are going to file an appeal today with the State Racing Commission, West said. Right after the race, I had the trainer call the stewards and very nicely ask them if they would be willing to visit us after a race were over. I said, we'll stay here until 11, 12 o'clock at night, whatever you want. And they said, absolutely not. We won't be showing the films until Thursday. We didn't really have any alternative legally. The appeal has to be filed within 48 hours. Maximum Security was disqualified from the first by the racing stewards and placed 17th in the 145th running of the Kentucky Derby on last Saturday. It was the first disqualification due to race riding in the 145-year running history. It was the first disqualification. The stewards took 22 minutes to declare a runner-up Country House. Sounds like a freaking whorehouse to me. Country House, the winner after deciding the Maximum Security interfered with several horses when he drifted out from the rail on the final turn. It was literally like an old TV show, The Thrill of Victory, The Agony of Defeat. Remember that used to come on every Saturday. You had that guy skiing down the hill, Agony of Defeat. Anyways, most of you probably don't even know what I'm talking about. All within 22-minute period of time, West said. Winning it was the most euphoric thing I have probably ever had in our lives. And disappointment when they took the horse down for the first time in history. We were stunned, shocked, and total disbelief. Now, They're going to court on this, and they're going to continue going to court on this, whether it takes months or years. And the horse interfered with other horses. That's what the video portrayed. And it's, the first time in 145 years that there's been a disqualification. That is good. Good. I'd be pissed too. I mean, you think you win the Kentucky Derby, and then I guess the horse that ended up winning was a 65-1 odds. So, $65 for every $1 that you bet. And when I bet horses, I always bet on the long shot. The underdog long shot. Always. I always put 10 to 20 bucks on the long shot because you never know when they're going to come in. And when they do, now granted, it's only 20 bucks, but if they, think of 65-1 odds and think of how much that is going to be. Let me add that up for you real quick on my trusty calculator. 65 times 20, that's 1,300 buckaroos, brother. All right, let's see. We've got somebody that I believe chimed in. Let's go check that out. Bob from New York says, any tips on the Yankees? Well, hello, Bob. Where's your friend Neil? Neil and Bob, or is that just what you do? I'm joking, brother. I'm joking. All right, Bob. Any tips on the Yankees? Yes, get everyone off the freaking injured list, man. But if you're talking about betting tips, yes, I do have some betting tips for you, my friend. Now, you can't do anything about tonight's game, but they are only a game and a half outside of first place. So, if you go to tomorrow's game and you want to bet on that game, I will give you some tips, my friend. Now, they're going to be playing the Tampa Bay. Now, CC Sabathia is pitching. Now, CC Sabathia can be on fire, or CC Sabathia can be cold. He's 2-1. He's got an ERA of 3.2. Now, pitcher for the Tampa Bay Rays have not been decided yet, so you don't know who's pitching. But if you want to bet on the Yanks, I would go ahead and take that bet. They might even have, I don't know what the, they don't have a line set up here for tomorrow's game, so I don't know what the run differential is for whatever team, but I can pretty much say that the Rays are going to be favored. And the Yankees might have a run and a half, 2 runs. I would take the Yankees plus the runs. Hope that answers your question, brother. Bob from New York. Right down the way, or I say down the way, but down from New York in the bottom of the state in Davie, Florida, Josh Rosen didn't really know his time with Arizona Cardinals was over until he got a call a few minutes before the draft. And he's embracing the adversary after being shipped to the Miami Dolphins for pennies on the dollar. That freaking sucks. That's a spit in the face, brother. Rosen is treating 2019 as 1-year tryout to prove to the Dolphins that he can be their answer at quarterback. Very rarely do you get a second chance to make a first impression, Rosen said. It felt like I got drafted twice. Rosen made a strong first impression on his first appearance in Miami. He didn't shy away from questions. Spoke about the emotions of Arizona drafting Kyler Murray, which you know what? You can't get butthurt over that, brother. I mean, I guess you could. It's stupid. And dumping him in Miami. I mean, Kyler Murray, though, Heisman Trophy winner, boy's on fire. He defended himself against criticism that he was a bad teammate and leader. I think I am ready, or a really good teammate. What I've tried to do is not say or do anything extra. Just kind of be me and keep my head down, and eventually the story will straighten out, Rosen said. I think it has, for the most part, time and consistency are the best medicine to cure the narrative. Dolphins coach Brian Flores said Rosen will have to earn the Dolphins start. They all say that. Will have to earn the Dolphins starting quarterback role over journeyman Ryan Fitzpatrick. Competition Rosen is embracing. The 22-year-old said he believes he's coming in as a backup on paper, so expect an open competition this summer between chosen Rosen and Fitzmagic, with Flores picking the best man for the job. Dolphins general manager Chris Greer is expecting a newly motivated Rosen after all that has transpired and been said about the quarterback over the past week. I don't think my chip has gotten to grow anymore. I might tip over, Rosen said, laughing. Dolphins offensive coordinator Chad O'Shea and quarterbacks coach Jim Caldwell will try to maximize Rosen's skill set. Rosen, a top 10 pick last year, will need to make a big leap after finishing last season with the NFL's worst passer rating of 66.7. Well, at least he didn't get 66.6, you devil worshiper. Rosen's talent is still there. Potential excites Miami, and opportunities are certainly plentiful. The Dolphins haven't had a Pro Bowl quarterback since Dan the Man Marino 23 years ago. The longest drought in the NFL on any team. Rosen would be the 20th quarterback to start for the Dolphins since Marino retired in 1999. So almost a quarterback a year if you are adding that up. I'm aware of the situation, Rosen said. Hopefully I could follow in some semblance of his massive footsteps. Doubt it. But Rosen's first step won't be replacing Marino. It'll simply be beating out Fitzpatrick, who certainly won't go down without a fight. This is a chance for Rosen to prove to the Cardinals and everyone who counted him out wrong, and in turn, he could provide the Dolphins great value. Bet on him in the acquisition of the year. Well, I don't think you're the acquisition of the year, brother. The Cardinals got rid of you for a reason. And, Kyler Murray is from OU. I went to OU. So, of course, I'm going for Kyler Murray. Throughout the show, I will be talking about the Warriors-Rockets game. And right now, you've got the Warriors, the Rockets, 10-8, only a 2-point differential. Got Draymond Green with 4 points, 2 rebounds, 1 steal. James Harden with 4 points, 1 rebound. Expectations are high for Cleveland Browns this coming season, with recent second-round pick Greedy Williams already calling for them to make the Super Bowl. Well, those are lofty freaking expectations. But one Las Vegas sportsbook doesn't have them favored to even make the postseason. The Superbook at the Westgate Las Vegas opened odds on all 32 NFL teams to make or miss the postseason on Sunday afternoon, with the Browns a minus 120 favorite to miss the playoffs, even to make the freaking playoffs. By Monday afternoon, the early money was on the Browns to make the postseason, switching the odds to minus 110 on both sides. Cleveland hasn't made the postseason since 2002 and finished 7-8-1 last year and 1-31 the previous 2 seasons. It's a really tough division, Superbook director John Murray told ESPN. I think people are making a mistake if they write the Steelers off. The Ravens should be solid again, and the Bengals can't help but be better with Marvin Lewis gone. The Browns still have the best odds at plus 140 to win the competitive AFC North at the sportsbook, with the Steelers at plus 150 and the Ravens at plus 300. Cleveland also opened with a win total of 9, over 130, under plus 110, the full 3 games higher than its closing total of 6 last season. The New England Patriots, 11-5 last season, have the highest win total at 11, putting them atop of the win total board before the start of the season for the 4th consecutive year and the 10th time since 2004. Patriots are the NFL best 13-3-1 over since 2002. The Kansas City Chiefs, Los Angeles Rams, and New Orleans Saints are the only other teams with double-digit win totals at 10.5. Kansas City's win total would have been higher if not for Tyreek Hill's latest off-the-field incident. We lowered the Chiefs by a half a win, Murray said, but I wouldn't be shocked if Hill pays again at some point. Kansas City still has the second highest odds in the AFC at minus 550 to make the postseason. New England tops at negative 900. Saints minus 310, Rams minus 310, and Philadelphia Eagles minus 190. That means you got to bet on let's just pick New England for now. It's minus 900. That means you've got to bet $900 just to make $100. So if you want to make that bet, you got to shell down a lot of cash just to make $1,000. Almost $10,000 just to make $1,000. The Arizona Cardinals, fresh off of drafting quarterback Kyler Murray with the number 1 pick in the NFL draft, are tied with the Miami Dolphins for the lowest win total at 5. Miami has the worst odds to make the postseason at plus 1,100, meaning, and this is where it switches when you see the plus. So if you bet $100 for the Dolphins to make the postseason, that means you would get $1,100 on your $100 bet. So that would be a fun bet to do, just to see. I mean, if they make the postseason, dude, your $100 bet yields you $1,100. I'd take that bet. All right. 12-12. Houston Rockets have tied up the game. New England Patriots have agreed to a trade that sends third-year tight end Jacob Hollister to the Seattle Seahawks pending a physical. Patriots announced that New England will receive a 2020 7th-round pick in return. Hollister made the Patriots as an undrafted rookie out of Wyoming in 2017. Played in 15 regular season games as a rookie, with his primary impact coming on special teams. Injury limited him to 8 games in 2018. The 6'4", 245-pound Hollister has totaled 8 catches for 94 yards over 2 seasons. Not very good. He's a lot of football in front of him, Patriots coach Bill Belichick said of Hollister. He didn't have a lot of experience, had some, but has gained a lot and will gain a lot more. I think he's got a great future. He works hard. He's a tough kid. He plays hard, practices hard, and has become much better at his fundamentals and techniques this postseason. Well, I always ask this question. If you're so enamored with somebody and they're so great, they work hard, they play hard, they practice hard, why are you guys getting rid of him? If he's getting much better, not just better, but much better, why are you getting rid of him? Just questions that I have. But you know what? It's the Patriots. They don't keep too many, unless you're the big superstars, they don't keep too many people around. Carolina Panthers, on the other hand, are taking a chance on an undrafted player whose father is a boxing legend, in their search for a running back pair with Christian McCaffrey as a 1-2 punch. Georgia's Elijah Holyfield, that's right, Evander Holyfield's son, the son of four-time heavyweight champion Evander Holyfield, that is, has agreed to terms with Carolina after being bypassed in the draft. The team announced the elder Holyfield said at the Super Bowl that he hoped his son got a chance to play for Atlanta, where he grew up. Elijah Holyfield will have to settle for playing in the NFC South rival Falcons twice this season if he makes the roster. Holyfield's draft stock dropped after he posted a 4.78 time in the 40-yard dash and didn't demonstrate great explosion. Known more for his quickness than speed, the 5'10", 215-pound back may be a better fit to complement McCaffrey than the fifth-round pick Jordan Scarlett out of Florida. The Panthers entered the offseason looking for a back who could do many of the same things McCaffrey does. In order to give the 217 first-round pick a break, McCaffrey played 91.3% of the team's offensive snaps and set an NFL season record for back with 107 catches in 2018. Scarlett is known more for his inside power runner, catching only 10 passes last season. Holyfield is more of a do-it-all back like McCaffrey. Holyfield rushed for 1,018 yards and 7 touchdowns on 159 carries and had 5 catches for 40 yards this past season as he split time with DeAndre Swift, who rushed for 1,049 yards. Holyfield will compete with Scarlett, Cameron Payne, Reggie Bonifant, and Elijah Hood, not Elijah Wood, Elijah Hood, for the spot behind McCaffrey. Holyfield isn't the only new arrival from Georgia. The Panthers made wide receiver Terry Goodwin a 7th-round pick on Saturday. Goodwin likes the addition of his former teammate. I know what he can bring to the table, and I know what type of athlete he is, Goodwin said of Holyfield. It is going to be an exciting camp for us. Back to the basketball game. 3:11 still to play in the first. Rockets take a 1-point lead, 20-19 over the freaking Warriors. Again, folks, if you guys miss this show, all you got to do is go to Spreaker.com, type in Sports Insider. You will see my lovely picture come up, and you can listen to all the shows. You can listen to tonight's show. You can listen to any of the weeks that I have done this lovely show. You could listen to any of it. And that goes the same with any of the other shows. If you miss any of the other shows, go and check those out, like Betrayal, that comes on after my show. They've got some really interesting stuff on that show and some really interesting subject matter. It comes on after my show, so it's on 10 p.m. Eastern Time. I would check that out, and you won't be disappointed. XFL announced a multi-year agreement with ESPN, Fox Sports News to televise games starting with its inaugural 2020 season. XFL games will air weekly on broadcast TV, complemented by games on cable. The XFL's TV schedule will feature back-to-back games each Saturday at 2 Eastern and 2 games on Sunday afternoons. We look forward to showcasing the XFL on ESPN and ABC, including the kickoff game and the championship during the league's inaugural season, said Burt Magnus. Vince McMahon and Oliver Luck are two of the sports industry's most creative and experienced leaders. They have exciting plans for the league. We believe in their vision for the XFL, which will be a great addition to our year-round commitment to football. We welcome the XFL to the Fox Sports family and are pleased to expand our relationship with Vince McMahon. The agreements were negotiated by CAA Sports and Evolution Media Capital on behalf of the XFL. The XFL will kick off on Saturday, February 8, 2020, with teams in Dallas, Houston, Los Angeles, New York, St. Louis, Seattle, Tampa Bay, Washington, D.C. Additional XFL-themed programming and on-air talent will be announced. Wow. Dallas, Houston, Los Angeles, New York, St. Louis, and Seattle, Tampa Bay, and Washington, D.C. Well. When the XFL came on a few years ago, it sucked donkey. And it was more of a charade than anything else. I thought it was more of a gimmick. I mean, I watched it, but I didn't think that it was that great of a show, if you will. Because that's what it seemed to be. It seemed to be a show. And it failed miserably. But we'll see if Vince McMahon has learned from his mistakes and will fine-tune this league, and we'll see what he does. All right. Let's go back to the basketball game. 23-26 is winning over the Rockets. I mean, Houston's over the Rockets. Oh my God, over freaking the Warriors. MLB, the Tampa Bay Rays have promoted power-hitting first base prospect Nate Lowe from the minors. The Rays announced Lowe's promotion Monday, but have not yet announced a corresponding roster move. Tampa Bay Times reported that infielder Christian Arroyo will be opted to AAA Durham to clear a spot for Lowe, 23. A former 13th round draft selection, Lowe emerged as one of Tampa Bay's best prospects last season when he was named the Rays Minor League Player of the Year. He's 6'3", 245 pounds, played in 130 games across 3 levels in the minors last season, batting .330, 27 home runs, and 102 RBIs. He was batting .300 with 3 homers in 21 games last year in Durham. Chicago White Sox entered their series finale with the 2 worst rotation ERA in baseball and the 2nd overall mark. 3 relievers combined for 20 Tigers in the Chicago's 4-1 victory. All right. Let's move back to NBA. 23-26. Well, the freaking Warriors are going to pull their heads out of their arse, buddy. LeBron James, the king himself, was stunned in disbelief when he very first, this is old news about Magic, but when he very first learned of Magic Johnson's sudden resignation, in his first public comments about Johnson shocking the Los Angeles Lakers organization when he stepped down as president of basketball operations moments before the Lakers' season finale April 9th. James said he was given no warning or heads up on Johnson's decision. On his HBO show, The Shop, James said he was stretching before the game against Portland when he was told that Johnson had told the media of his decision. And this is a direct quote from James. "Man, get the fuck out of my face, you bullshitting." James said of his reaction of his longtime friend and business partner, Randy Mims, "I came here to be a part of the Lakers organization having a conversation with Magic. That's what LeBron said. Johnson was the only Lakers representative who met with James at his Los Angeles home July 1st before James decided to join the Lakers. Just a few days before Johnson stunned the Lakers and the NBA world with this abrupt decision, he and the Lakers general manager Rob Pelinka met with James and James's agent, Rich Paul. Johnson gave James no inkling of his decision to come. That freaking sucks, man. I mean, we discussed on the show already why Magic did it, why I think he did it, and it is what it is, and you just got to live with it. New York, jurors in a federal criminal trial involving college basketball corruption heard a wiretap recording of telephone call between defendant Christian Dawkins and a business partner, Munish Sood. That's a jacked up name. Munish Sood, in which Dawkins alleged that the Arizona basketball coach Sean Miller fronted a deal to ensure the Wildcats signed former star DeAndre Ayton. During the telephone call, which FBI wiretaps intercepted on June 2nd, 2017, Dawkins and Sood discussed how much it was going to cost for them to sign Ayton as a client in their new sports management company once he returned pro. Sood testified on Monday that he and Dawkins were already paying then Arizona associate head coach Emmanuel Book Richardson to influence the Wildcats players and recruits to sign with their firm. He's already made it clear you're going to get, or we're going to get, the number one pick next year, assuming he's number one. Sood said of Richardson during the call, it's going to be more money than what Book said. I mean, because I talked to Sean, Dawkins told Sood. Sean's one of the front of the deal, so it's going to be some money, but I mean, we'll figure it all out. The Arizona coach discussed a $100,000 payment that secured Ayton's commitment to the Wildcats. At the time, Miller disputed the report and denied ever paying a recruit to sign with Arizona. Now, this stuff happens all the time. Recruits get money all the time. It's just how you go about doing it. If you're stupid, if you get caught, which these two idiots did, and you're not going to stop it. But I mean, I'm not saying do it, but I mean, you have to know it happens, and there's a lot of palms being greased at this time. Lubbock, Texas, a 24-year-old man sought in the shooting of Texas Tech football player, and a woman has turned himself in to Lubbock police. Well, that was nice of him. Police statement identifies the suspect as Asia Divine Jackson. It sounds more like a stripper. He had been sought on a warrant alleging aggravated assault with a deadly weapon in the shooting of 19-year-old redshirt freshman John Scott III. Lubbock County Jail records list no attorney for Jackson, who's held without bond. Police say 911 operators received multiple reports of shots fired in an apartment near Texas Tech campus. Witnesses told officers at the altercation between several people at the apartment complex pool escalated until one man took a gun and opened fire. Officers arrived to find Scott seriously wounded. The 19-year-old woman was also wounded. Scott and the woman were hospitalized. Scott was listed in stable condition Sunday. Now, what a bunch of idiots. I mean, get in a fight, you're going to puss out and pull out a gun and start shooting. To me, that's one big walking vagina right there. I mean, if you can't go fisticuffs with somebody, if you get that mad, you got to do something. I mean, why do you got to pull out a weapon? I mean, that's just ignorant in my book. Washburn University defensive back was killed in another shooting in Topeka, Kansas. The shooting also injured teammate Corey Ballantyne, who was drafted by the New York Giants on Saturday.
Joined your channel.
Washburn President Jerry Farley confirmed that Dwayne Simmons, 23, was killed in the shooting in a letter to the school. Ballantyne is expected to make a full recovery, Fairley wrote. Again, all of these shootings, all of these senseless shootings, I mean, the guy just got drafted, to the New York Giants, and then he goes and gets shot. LSU's 2020 recruiting class was already off to a fast start, but the Tigers added another elite prospect. Jarrett is the number 22 recruit overall and chose LSU over offers from Alabama, Ohio State, Clemson, Tennessee, and Georgia. Among others, Jarrett, 6-foot, 190-pound receiver from St. John's College High School, Washington, D.C., he is the number 2 ranked receiver in the 2020 class and the third wide receiver committed to LSU in this class, ranked with the top 67 spots. LSU is not a bad place to go to. If you're chasing a ring and you want to have a chance to go to the national championship, 2 best schools to go to right now are Clemson or Alabama. Because who's been in the last 3 national championships? You got Clemson winning, Alabama winning, Clemson winning. You can go somewhere like OU, somewhere like that. Texas Tech coach Chris Beard agreed Monday to a new contract that will make him one of the highest paid coaches in college basketball. Signed a 6-year contract that will pay him $4.575 million annually, keeping him under the contract through the 2024-25 season. His annual salary is now the 4th highest in the country, behind coach John Calipari, Duke's Mike Krzyzewski, and Tennessee Rick Barnes, according to USA Today's coaching salary database. $4.575 million is nothing to sneeze at, brother. I don't know. I don't have anything pulled up here. I don't know what Mike Krzyzewski's making. He's probably making closer to 6 or 6.2. John Calipari is probably making $5.5, $5.8 million. Virginia will not accept an invitation to the White House to commemorate its run for the national title. Coach Tony Bennett, not the singer, said in a statement. Bennett said logistics, not politics. Bullshit. I call bullshit. Bennett said logistics, not politics, would preclude Virginia from accepting an invitation. 4 Virginia players have declared for the NBA draft. It is unclear if President Trump has formally extended an invitation to the program. We have received inquiries about a visit to the White House, Bennett said in a statement, with several players either pursuing pro opportunities or moving on from UVA. It would be difficult, if not impossible, to get everyone back together. Bullshit. We would have to respectfully decline the invitation. I bet you if it was freaking Obama, they would go. The Cavs won their first national championship. And I don't know what it is. I say I don't know. I do know. It's freaking politics. Politics. if it was anybody else or anywhere else, I guarantee you they would. It's impossible to get the players together. Bullshit. All right, let's check in on the game. Well, Rockets are slowly pulling away, 33-37. The Rockets scored 28 in the first quarter. Warriors scored 27. Now the Rockets scored 9 in the second. Warriors 6. Chris Paul 11 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist. Kevin Looney 8 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist. Alrighty then. New York. Let's go back to New York. Defense attorneys for the 2 men accused of bribing college coaches tried to convince jurors that the payments made weren't really bribes, but just a hustle to get potential investors to part with their money. But as the government brought on its second witness, the calls, text messages, and emails showing discussions about paying players, their families, and coaches in exchange for getting top young players to sign, defendant in return continued to mount. Prosecutors showed video of meeting between the defendant and aspiring sports agent Christian Dawkins attended July 2017 with Creighton assistant coach Preston Murphy, where Murphy accepted $6,000 payment from an undercover FBI agent posing as an investor in Dawkins' New Athlete Financial Services Company. Government witness Marty Blazer, who participated in the FBI investigation, testified Thursday Murphy was one of the coaches that Dawkins was going to pay to gain influence with top players. During the meeting at a posh Las Vegas hotel room, Murphy talked about how he could deliver top NBA prospect by the name of Marcus Phillips. Dawkins attorney Stephen Haney questioned Blazer on. He asked Blazer if he would be surprised to know that there's nobody named Marcus Phillips who has played for Creighton University. And then when Dawkins and Murphy walked out of the hotel room together, they laughed all the way down the hall. The Blue Jays had Marcus Foster at the time, but no Marcus Phillips. Haney also asked Blazer about some of the other payments made to coaches in the hotel room, including $6,000 to former TCU assistant coach Corey Barker, $13,000 to former USC coach Tony Bland, one of the coaches who has pleaded guilty in connection with the case. Blazer testified that Dawkins needed to get the money to Bland for a potential recruit, Marvin Bagley, who eventually enrolled at Duke. In referring to Bland, Haney asked whether an assistant coach who made $400,000 and flies around in a private jet could be bribed by a few $1,000s. He asked whether Blazer followed Bland and Dawkins down to the casino floor and saw Bland give Dawkins the money back, and asked another question of payments that implied that money was actually returned to Dawkins, including a reference to Dawkins depositing $9,000 into an ATM machine shortly thereafter. With all the experience being a con man, Haney said to Blazer, "You weren't aware that Christian Dawkins actually took a hustle of you." Again, folks, this stuff happens more than you think. And it is greed that gets these people in trouble. It is greed that gets these people on the radar. Greed, 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 greed. Again, if you guys want to follow us, go to Facebook, type in Armed Radio, and you will get that lovely girl with the headphones on. And you can follow us along with the other 101,905 people. Go to TuneIn, search Armed Radio, subscribe to that, and you can listen to all of the shows on Armed Radio. Also the one that comes on after my show, Betrayal. Check that out. It's got an interesting show tonight, I guarantee you. And you can also go to Spreaker.com if you have missed any of this. And I tell you guys again, as I said in the beginning of the show, for your mother or your wife, get a piece of paper, fold it in half. On the front part, draw a picture of whatever that you want. I don't care if you're the worst artist on the planet. Draw something. Draw stick figures. Anyone can draw a stick figure. And on the inside, write something heartfelt. It does not have to be a poem. Just write something in a couple sentences, heartfelt. And I promise you that it will be the best gift that they received because it was hand done by you. I still have, my dad passed away October of last year, and my mom gave me some of his belongings, and in one of his Bibles that he read every day, there was some letters that I wrote to him, that I hand wrote him, and that he still had. And so it's sentimental, and you think people are just going to throw it away. They're not going to, but have a good weekend, everybody. Do something nice for the mother in your life. You don't take them out to the cliche dinner or lunch or brunch or anything like that. Just do something nice for them, and have a good weekend. Be safe. Don't drink too much. And I will see you guys next week, every single Friday. Sports Insider, 9 p.m. Eastern. Have a great weekend. See you next week. Peace out.